Maido! Hi there, Japan fans. Today's show, we're going to talk about too much. Present Master Shimashou. This is the 7th year of the Presentation Japan Series podcast. We are beaming around the world to you from sunny Minato-ku in Tokyo. And I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muda ni suru wa yamimashou, and all are available on Amazon. Through this podcast, I want to help you to become a better speaker, to be 1, clear, 2, confident, 3, persuasive, and 4, highly influential with those around you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series, and every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oshie show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series, and every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast, and Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 355. Today we're talking about when is too much when presenting. You're too loud. You are too high energy. These were some survey comments following some training I was delivering for 60 managers for a client. You can imagine that the venue to hold 10 tables of 6 participants each has to be quite large and spacious, and that was the case. To project to an audience that size in such a large venue means you have to really lift yourself and pump out a lot of energy. The brief from the client was that many of these managers had lost their mojo over the course of COVID, and the organization needed lifting, and these were the people who needed to provide that lift. They wanted the first session to be a motivational speech to inject some missing mojo back into those in the team who were lacking in that department. With some of those comments coming back in the survey after the session, it was obvious that for some of them I was too strong, too powerful, and they found it threatening. Out of 60, how many do I think felt like that? I would say 2 or 3. And as a trainer, I would just ignore that group and go for moving the mass of the people and getting them fired up. If I was the boss, I would look at replacing them with others to lead who would be more suitable for the task. I'd be asking, if they can't take a 1-hour motivational speech, how can they deliver as leaders to their teams? Other comments were powerful, motivating, enthusiastic, etc. So you can see it hit the mark with the majority, and as a trainer, that is a good result. Training is one thing and presenting is another, but there are obvious overlaps, especially given that first session was a motivational talk. Is there the danger that if we are too strong as a presenter, we will lose some of our audience who don't like all of that power close up and personal? Also, how much power is too much? Where is the line to determine we've gone too hard and too far? A talk is usually around 40 minutes. And there are 15 minutes for questions, so the amount of presenting time is contained. Is it legitimate to go hard during those 40 minutes? There are a number of factors to consider. Who is the audience? And what is the point of this talk? The brief, in my example, was clear. Restore their broken mojo and fire them up. To do that, I have to be fired up, high energy, driving, powerful. If I want to lift them to 100%, then I have to go to 150. In a typical business speech, we won't be asked to perform that role. Topics are usually more technical. We share experiences, explain how we got results, and cover problem solving. We are there to stimulate the thinking of the audience and get them on the road to success. Do we need to go to 150%? Actually, we might in very short bursts if we need to make an important point, but we are talking nanoseconds here, not minutes. Find out more. We come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also are doing custom in-house programs. We do them in both Japanese and English. We do them in our super safe classroom and live online. Today's show is brought to you by Step Up to Leadership on the 29th of August. This is our one-day program. It's a great bridging program for those being moved up in the ranks from a player to a leader. On the 30th, we do storytelling, absolute critical skill, storytelling, how to package up information and sell it to an audience, bosses, colleagues, clients, doesn't matter, same thing, through context, background, telling the story first. Powerful, powerful program. Go to our website at www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Lots and lots of value there for you. To do better in Japan, email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have nearly 2,000 there for you on Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show on Japan, every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show. And on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from small, medium enterprises all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro TV show. Get my best-selling books on business in Japan, the Bible on selling, Japan Sales Mastery, Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Torenin de okane wo muru ni sume wa yamemashou, and all are available on Amazon. Welcome back. There is also the question of the brand we want for ourselves personally and professionally. How do we want to be perceived in the market? If we come across in a very mild, low energy manner, that may work for our brand and for some industry audiences, particularly technical groups. If it was an audience of salespeople, it would be a total dud. I'm a trainer and a salesperson, and if I presented in a highly calm, no energy manner, it would be the death knell for my business. No one would hire me because I wasn't being congruent with what I'm doing. Generally speaking, our talk should be a mixture of energy outputs. There are certain words we want to highlight to lift their importance above the parapet. I make sure they resonate with the audience. We inject a lot of energy into those words, mimicking the highs of classical music. Classical music cannot just be crescendos, or the audience becomes overwhelmed. There must be lulls too, and that contrast is what makes both work so well, and so it is with public speaking. All soft or all hard are both bound to fail. Most speakers deliver their content to the audience in a monotone voice, which is a great formula for putting people to sleep. We need to match our energy to our content. Professor Morabian discovered in his research in the 1960s that if the way you are delivering the content doesn't match the content, then that lack of congruency confuses the audience and they get distracted. In his day, that distraction will be evidenced with the audience concentrating on how we look and how our voice sounds, instead of on what we are saying. Today, the audience would be lurching for their phones to escape the speaker and get onto the internet to access their social media feeds. This means where there are points in the talk which call for more enthusiasm, we should raise our energy and voice to show more passion. If it requires a calm demeanor, then that is what we need to be presenting to our audience. We cannot have a Johnny one-note approach to one setting on the energy dial from start to finish. Our variation in energy and output is the key. Did you get value from today's show? If you did, then share the love around with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Until the next episode, go out there and apply the learnings from today and become a presentations legend amongst your circle. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.